What's going on, guys? Wayne's Workshop here, and in this video I'm gonna review some of this LED foam we've been seeing floating around our communities lately. We've all seen Kamui Cosplay's Monster Hunter cosplay by now, which she uses this stuff. So I wanted to get my hands on some of it and test it out on my own. So I got some test pieces here and let's see what it does. So I've hooked up a simple RGB LED strip to a Arduino, and I just glued it down on a foam piece to like keep it straight. And I've cut out a little bit of the LED foam. As you can see from the texture right here, this is actually a plastizote foam, and many retailers are selling this now. I've seen it pop up on Polyprops, and this particular one comes from Cosplayshop's like Style in Belgium. And from the looks of it, it's LD45, and yeah, I got the 2mm thin one. They have it in 2, 5, 10. This stuff comes available in many thicknesses, but I needed some for my Shrike Anna jacket, so I got the 2mm version, and to see if this diffuses correctly. Now on camera, this looks like a pretty good glow, like it diffuses it, but that's only because of the camera lens. LEDs on camera always look better than they do in real life, because like right now, the lights are kind of, the exposure settings are on automatic on my camera. You can still see all the spots, and that's usually, in my opinion, what I find ugly is that you see every individual LEDs. So this foam kind of negates that, but right now with only one thin layer on camera, it looks pretty good. But in real life, when I'm looking at it, I can count every single spot, and I'll try to mimic this on camera right now. See, now I've set the exposure settings to a minimum. The camera will not absorb any light from from the room itself, but only from, see, those are my fingers. Now, this is how it actually looks in real life. This, right now, are the individual LEDs without the foam strip. This is with the foam strip on, and you can see there is a notable difference, of course, already, but you could still see those spots in real life. So yeah, this is only 2mm thick, so of course it won't diffuse all that much, but I need it in my jacket, so I gotta get it as thin as possible. Now, you could just buy the 5mm one instead. For me, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually cut this strip in half, and I'm gonna stack it. So now technically I have 4mm thick. I'm gonna lay that one on top. Let's go back to the low exposure setting. Now this is already way better. At full brightness, you can't even see the individual spots. So my guess right now is if I added even a third layer up to 6mm, then it would do a perfect job. So now I've cut another strip. Let's put that one on there. Let the camera adjust, and now I got what I wanted. So in hindsight, I should have just bought 5mm thick. But for my own personal project, I kind of need it thin, so I'll just accept the LED spots because I really need it thin, so it's 2mm. But when you lay this foam flat on the LEDs, my choice would be 5mm thick to really get it diffused. However, I'm placing this foam now, of course, straight on the LED strip. So yeah, of course you will see those spots with only one strip. Now the thing is, if I would distance it from the light source, then I wouldn't need it as thick as normal. So And see, the distance is already doing something to it. Let's force it into that V a little bit. Now at full brightness, you can see it's a nice glow all around. So the further away from the light source, the better the diffusion will be of the light. So that's kind of what we want. So if you really want to have a thin foam, you could have always distanced this from the light source. Now what you also can do is, right now, this is a nice light bluish color, and that's the color that I need for the LEDs for my Shrike Anna jacket. However, it will be covered with this fabric because it's a jacket after all. So if I am going to add 2 of these strips, so right now I got 4 millimeters, and then I'm gonna cover it with this, with the fabric that eventually will go over it. So right now it's still kind of thick for a coat, I guess, but hey, who needs comfort anyway? Now you can see with only 2 of those strips and the fabric, this looks like a glowing piece of fabric. So right now, with this piece of fabric on it, it looks pretty good. It's actually, I cannot see the individual LEDs, and that's exactly what I want. So it did, after all, took 3 layers, like a 2 millimeter piece, another 2 millimeter, and then my thin piece of fabric. Let's see how that looks with only 1 layer. Yeah, see, now we can see the individual spots again. So if your material would be flush against the light source, I would advise a minimum of 4 millimeter thick of this foam, or distance this stuff from the light source, because, you know, of course, I'm building a jacket, but you are building something else, so you might have the room or space in your prop or whatever to distance this LED foam from the light source. So there you go, my review of the Plastizote LED foam. I really like this stuff. I'm gonna buy the 5 millimeter version and see how that works. But so far, this 2 millimeter stuff seems to be working just fine for my purpose. From what I've seen is you can treat this just like any other of your foam. You can seal it with your favorite seal method, and it just takes paints like enamels, acrylics, everything, so you can also color it in your color of choice. So I'm gonna get to work on getting this in my Shrike Anna jacket, and then keep an eye on social media to see how that one turns out. Hope you found this useful again, and I'll see you in the next video.